They will be joining the S&P 500 December 21st. The company it replaces has not yet been decided yet. It will be one of the largest weight additions in the last decade for the S&P 500. But the mechanics of how it happens, well, the folks who set it up, Dow Jones Indices, has said, look, we're going to consult with the investment community because of the size of Tesla, what it means in order for it to join the S&P 500. Will it be a full float adjusted market cap all at once on December 21st? Or will they do it in two tranches? The first one happening on December 14th, and then a second one added on the rebalancing effective date sometime early in 2021.
Hey, I'm Stephen and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So you've probably heard by now, Tesla is being added to the S&P 500 index. It took them a little while to make this announcement. My hunch is they were trying to figure out how in the actual fuck do we add this gigantic company in terms of market cap. And it turns out the S&P committee is now reaching out to investors to ask what do they think? How should Tesla be added to the S&P index? So let's get into the video. But first, hey guys, if you're in the US and you'd like 3 free stocks, yes, 1, 2, 3 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. Open a new account and fund it with $100 and you'll get 3 free stocks, 2 of them valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Let's get back to it.
What do you make of this, especially for people who got in? I mean, this was so long expected and finally it's here.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about this in the spring. And
yeah.
Listen, great for Tesla, a company that 2 years ago, I think was, within a week or so of maybe going in an entirely different direction. And we talked about then as well. One thing I've said for a while, and again, I want to emphasize this, I'm not some raging Tesla bull. I've been wrong as many times as I've been right, but there have been a number of things that made you stay with the stock, not least of which was back in May when the stock was trading at an all-time high, I believe May 1st, around $700 pre-split at the time. And Elon Musk said, I'm paraphrasing, the stock is too expensive, and the sell-off lasted for a day. You've seen things like that now many times over the last 5 or 6 months. Every time the stock goes down, it's been a reason to buy it. And my sense is we take out that 502 level that we made an all-time high of a few months ago rather quickly.
Stock is up more than 10% right now. Bonawyn, for a Tesla investor who has endured volatility, does this sort of dampen that, do you think, with the being included in the S&P 500?
Sure, there should be a slight vol dampening effect, particularly as you have indexing and rebalancing, and you'd expect those options to trade with a little bit more liquidity. In terms of risk to the upside or downside, I really think a lot of this has been priced in despite the 10% move here. We've had a massive run up. If you've been long, I think you take some chips off the table, but that's generally my disposition on anything that has run up the way that Tesla or like names have.
This, ladies and gentlemen, clearly demonstrates the difference in thinking between a trader, also known as a gambler, not an investor, and a long-term investor, also known as the only kind of investor. Let me pose a question to you, just for some context. In 2030, if you're an investor in Tesla stock today, and you sell and take some of your profits, which, by the way, you can't go broke taking a profit, you probably won't get wealthy doing it either, do you really think that in 2030 you'll look back on that as a great decision? Now, there's no right or wrong answer here. It really just boils down to this. In 10 years' time, what do you think the odds are that Tesla stock will be worth significantly, substantially, materially more than it is today? If you think the odds of that are quite high, and you don't need the capital today, you don't need to sell your shares, you don't have any emergencies, any financial dramas or fires to put out, why would you take some profits? Serious question, genuine question. Just ask yourself, why would you do that? And this leads into the next point. I'm not sure if you guys understand the dynamics of the stock market, but in very simple terms, it boils down to this. Supply and demand is what impacts a stock price. We now know that over the next month, give or take, indexes are going to need to buy over $50 billion worth of Tesla stock from people selling Tesla stock. But what if people aren't selling Tesla stock? This guy certainly isn't selling a single share. Most of you aren't either. You know what's likely to happen if no one's selling? Tesla stock to the moon. Of course, there's absolutely no guarantee, so time will tell, but my hunch is Tesla stock more than likely to the moon. And of course, don't forget to pick up your Tesla stock to the moon tee in the merch store if you haven't already. It's kind of awkward. I designed that t-shirt originally as a little bit of a joke, kind of taking Tesla's stock trajectory and then just running a vertical line afterwards, and then next minute Tesla stock literally went vertical, and I basically accidentally predicted Tesla stock 6 months ahead of time. Not actually joking. Isn't that awkward?
Yeah. Karen, your thoughts?
Well, what did you say the math was again on how many the trillions in index and how much they have to buy?
11.2 trillion is indexed or benchmarked, but of that total, 4.6 trillion is indexed, implying that those funds would have to buy.
I don't know how much that would be of Tesla.
Of Tesla shares.
I mean, I understand, of course, why it's up, but I would neither buy it or sell it on its inclusion or not inclusion in the S&P. I think this to me is not a catalyst. Their earnings, their products, that's a catalyst.
I agree with this point. Being added to the S&P 500 index changes literally nothing about Tesla's core business, the competitive landscape, their technology. Nothing changes. But over the long term, this is a positive catalyst for Tesla stock. Not only are indexes forced to buy if they're tracking the S&P 500, but many investors who are a little bit scared off by all the FUD out in the media might finally start to look at Tesla as a real company and as a legitimate investment now that it's part of this huge, legit index.
Think of how far the conversation has come when it comes to this company, though, Tim. I mean, from disastrous conference calls to Elon Musk smoking a blunt on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? To the crazy tweets and all, and now it's in the big boys club. I mean, it's in the S&P 500. Here we are, $4.55 a share.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to pick on the panel too much here. Of course, they're just having a little bit of fun, but there's something in this. Most of the stuff that we've heard in the mainstream finance media over the last 12 or so months, maybe even 24 months regarding Tesla, hasn't necessarily been based about the company, their metrics, the fundamentals, the numbers, the unit volume, the growth, the execution, nothing like that. It's, oh no, Elon smoked a blunt. Oh, what a terrible guy. Elon said some weird joke about fucking horses on Twitter a few years ago. That's disgusting. What a weird guy. What a terrible company to invest in. So it's not so much that Tesla has come far. I mean, certainly Tesla has continued along the path that it was blindingly obvious that it was already following, and we already could see where it would end up in the future. But so much of the mainstream finance media clouded people's ability to see this because of the FUD. Things that didn't matter being discussed like they did. So yes, Tesla has come a long way, but we could already tell where they were going and roughly how long it would take to get there, if we just paid attention. Just for some additional context, Tim Seymour, who you'll hear more from shortly, has been very critical of Tesla in the past. In fact, he hasn't been able to say a positive thing about the company for years. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, anyone, anywhere. If you've ever heard Tim say anything positive about Tesla whatsoever, please let me know. Unsurprising after all. He's basically sucking Gordon Genius Johnson's teat for information about this company, which is never a wise strategy unless you want to lose your entire net worth, your house, your savings, and the respect of your peers. Now, I could be crazy. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think after watching the following clip, but I'm getting the distinct impression that Tim Seymour is starting to flip from Tesla bear to Tesla bull. Perhaps inclusion in the S&P 500 index was that final tick of legitimacy this poor guy needed to be able to see clearly what was before his very eyes.
Funding statement as well, and then Elon Musk a couple weeks ago saying we were within a month of bankruptcy, something along those lines. So I'll leave that for people to quote exactly. But it's been extraordinary, and I think it's very interesting to see where the competitive landscape has also become more intense. And on some level, all of the other EV plays, in some sense, showed a brighter light on Tesla and actually helped. And now we have a dynamic where you have Volkswagen and GM and Ford have certainly been in the news over the last month talking about their story. I still think with Tesla, profitability is very important to get back to valuation issues. If the balance sheet is not in question, and it's not, and again, that's how this story has changed dramatically. But the last couple of quarters have been marked by EV credits being the lion's share or the only reasons for profitability at a time when the landscape gets more competitive.
Do you question S&P's judgment then?
That they've indicated.
Do you think that S&P should have? Do you think S&P should have rethought or thought about that?
I don't think the S&P. No.
Do they care?
I don't think the S&P is getting into the fine print. I don't think they're there to make that assessment. They're there to there's a technical dynamic of profitability that allows inclusion, and a company this large has to be in there if it clears the hurdle. But I think there are people that are questioning, how sustainable How legitimate is this profitability? And I don't think S&P is making that assessment. And that's why this news is an exciting day for shareholders and something that I do believe has been priced in. But clearly, a 10% move tells you there's a pop in this stock which loves Momo moments, and this is one of them.
What a glorious day for Tesla shareholders. As I record this, stock market's just open and Tesla stock up a little bit over 12%. Who knows where it will end up by the end of the day, but hey, I'm certainly not complaining. More on Tesla's S&P 500 inclusion soon. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget, if you're in the US and you'd like 3 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. Open a new account and fund it with $100 and you'll get 3 free stocks, 2 of them valued up to $1,600. And if you're in Australia, the UK or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake also using the link in the description. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.